Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and it's Froggy Friday, but this one is going to be with a bit of a twist. So I've received this package from resiners that I work with, and it is our standard little frog mold. But they've also sent me a 3-speed manual mixer. Now, I thought to myself, if I've got an electric one, why would I ever want one of these? And I thought, you know what? If I'm going out and about, let's say I'm taking a trip, or even worse, let's say I haven't paid my electric bill and I've got no electric, this could be pretty useful. So I just thought, and look at this, I have silica. Look at this. I can't get them apart. This is why you should always wipe your scissors, guys. I'll be right back. There we go. After a bit of gentle persuasion, they're working again. So, yeah, if you've not paid your electric bill, if you have a power cut, or something like that, then you're not going to be able to use your electric machine. So I actually thought, you know what, let's give this a blast, and let's see what it looks like. So we're unboxing it live on this Froggy Friday, and we're going to see what it looks like. And I think, there we go, look at that. That's what you get in the box. Comes with a 12-month warranty card, as always, from resiners. There we go. Now, do I read the instructions or do I just wing it? That is the question. Here we go. So this is the mixer. Couple of different components. It looks pretty straightforward to me. So you've got the rocker at the top, you've got the machine head, you've got the extension rod, and then the silicone paddle. Let's have a look. And you should be able to fit this in silicone cups as well, which I quite like the idea of because it makes cleaning a bit easier. So here we go. Let's open it up and see what we've got. And I've got an interesting idea for the frog as well. So we're going to see what we can do with that. Right, so this is the paddle. This, I'm guessing, is the bit that goes on the top. This is the extension rod. And then what else do you get in this packet? You get a nice little... I love the design on that, actually. I might actually use that on its own, that honeycomb design. That is cool little mat. You get the silicone cup, which is up to 12 ounces. And you get a cool little silicone tool to go with it as well. So there we go. So let's put it together and let's use it to mix up some resin for this Froggy Friday. And I've got some really cool ideas, hopefully, for this week. But I think it's great that you get this little pad in there as well to collect any drips that you might have. So let's put it together first of all. And I'm guessing it's a pretty straightforward assembly. That goes in there like so. Your paddle goes in there like so. This goes on the top, and it has got 3 speeds. So we've got slow and we've got fast. Now, I'm going to be using a fast cure resin, so there we go. That's essentially the idea, you know. Still a lot easier than going around like that with your hand. So that is the slow. And then you just swap it if you want the fast. Look at that. Really fast. So I think I'm going to leave it on the slow because I'm going to be using a fast cure resin. And then we're going to mix up the resin and then we're going to get this frog made. And I'm going to do something with it that you're not supposed to do, as always. So, but I do like the fact that you've got spouts on each side as well for this cup. So let's get some resin in there. Let's get gloved up. Let's get the PPE on and let's see if this manual silicone paddle efficient mixer from resiners works on this Froggy Friday. And don't forget, if you want to get one of these, go to resiners.com and use the discount code CCUK to get yourself some money off. And you may have noticed I'm doing this on a chopping board. And the reason why is I've got a child-free day today, so I'm going to try and fit as many projects in as I can. So after an hour or so, I'm going to move this into my curing cabinet and I can get on with the next big project. So whenever you use these cups, I find it easier to mark out where I want my resin. So I just get a pen like this. And we all know the standard frog takes about 4 ounces of resin. I'm guessing this mold from Resiners is exactly the same. So I'm going to go across to the ounces just because I find it easier to work in ounces. So that's the 2 up to there. And then that's the 4 up to there. I think I can just about see those. And then we're going to pour in the resin and then we're going to mix it up. Now, I'm only going to have a 20-minute working time actually, so I'm going to save the mixing until I put in a couple of the details on this frog. So the first thing I'm going to do is, for this frog, I want to keep it pretty simple because I want it to almost be transparent. So I'm going to put in the eyes using some UV resin, and I'm going to be using the Apex UV resin here. And I picked out some eyes where it doesn't matter which way around they go, it's just the dot eyes. So I'm going to put those in first. And feel free to fast forward past this part if you've seen me putting in eyes before. It's pretty straightforward. So all you do, I'm just looking around for my torch. Oh, you wouldn't believe it. I cleaned up my workstation and I can't find anything now because I've cleaned it up so well that I don't know where anything is. So it's an absolute nightmare. It looks better because it's clean. There we go. So there is the torch. So step 1, we're just going to put in these eyes, and I'm going to do something different for the toes as well in this frog. So literally, I just want a tiny bit of this resin in that eye cavity. That's 1. And then I'm going to get one of these eyes and pop it in the cavity. Dead straightforward, that part. And with these ones, where it's just a dot in the eye, you can't really go wrong. If you've got the ones with lines on, you want to make sure that they're both the same way around. You know, so there we go. That's that first eye in the cavity. Doesn't take long. 5-10 seconds on each side. And then there we go. That is that first eye in place. Let's put the second one in place as well. And again, don't forget, because this is a Froggy Friday video, do me a favor, guys. The playlist will be in the description, and check out all of these amazing artists. I'm still flabbergasted, and there's a word, in how many different ideas we have for this simple frog mold, which Resiners have started doing now as well. It's a beautiful mold. It comes out with some great frogs, and as I say, all the artists in there are absolutely amazing. So make sure you watch all of the videos. So that's step 1. Those eyes aren't going anywhere now. They're both in place, so I'm happy with those. Now I thought I want this to be a little bit special. So I've got some iridescent rocks, which again, were just from Temu. And I'm going to put one of those in each toe, again using the UV, before we get onto the main part, but it is going to be a very simple one, this. So I want to try and pick out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 4 toes in the front, so I need 8 for the front. And I need 1, 2, 3, 4, well, 10 technically in the back, if I can get any that are small enough for the back. So there we go. And I'm going to try and get ones that actually fit in. So there you go. These are just iridescent glass beads, I suppose you'd call them. I think they were called glass rocks when I actually got them from Temu. And I just love the way they look when they cure with a bit of resin over them. And again, for this part, I'm just going to use the UV resin. And all I'm going to do is get a drop of the resin in each of these toes. Make sure you don't forget one. And then we're going to go in with one of these glass iridescent beads. And on the back ones, it's the same with this. So there is actually 5 toes, but I think I'm only going to get 4 in with these beads because of how small that 5th toe is. So in we go. Just enough to secure the rock where I want it. And there we go. So that is the UV resin. And now I'm going to try and pick the rounder ones and just put one in like that. 1, 2, And I think this will just give us a different effect once we pour the frog. And again, I'm going to be doing something that you're not supposed to do in this frog, but I wanted to see what would happen. I'm going to be using a product that I've been told not to use in resin. That's not like me, is it? In we go. And make sure you don't miss one of these, because you will notice in the end product if you're missing one. I'm just popping one of these glass beads or rocks or whatever they are in each tool. And this is the only elaborate part to this frog, which is, again, it's a little bit strange for me. I normally go all out, but I think for this one, I want the simplicity of the frog to be beautiful. And whether it will work or not, I don't know at this point. And I might even put a few of these in the actual make, just to sink onto his back. Not decided yet, but I don't want too many if I do that, because I don't want that to be the main effect. So you can see there, I've got one of those in each of those toes. I'm going to put the rest back in the packet for now. And I may come back to them in a minute. Don't know yet. I think I will, because that's just come to me now. So again, just curing those in. It doesn't matter if they've come down a little bit either. It's like you can see the UV resin there has come down a little bit. Again, I could have wiped it off and gone a little bit neater, but I don't think it will matter in the overall effect of this frog. So there we go. That is that first part done. So we've got the toes in, we've got the eyes in. Now it's time to mix up some resin. And I'm going to be using a fast cure resin for this. Again, for me, I'm going to use the one from Apex because I absolutely love it. And we're going to mix up just over 4 ounces is the plan. So I'm going to go in first with the hardener. In it goes. And I want just over 2, which is there. And I always go just over because there's nothing worse than being just under. And I can always pour spare resin into a drip mold afterwards. And then this should take it all the way over 4. So here we go. And that should be enough resin for my frog. So just over 4 ounces gone in there. And now we get to try out this new manual mixer. And it should be pretty straightforward. So you can see my resin's in there. Just going to move Mr. Froggy out of the way. I'm going to put this mixer in, like so. And then I'm going to try and get it so it's around that cup. The silicone cup should be able to fit it all the way around the edge. A little bit finicky when you do this. It's got a sideways one as well. I don't know what that's for. I might have to actually read the instructions. Here we go. That's in there, that's in there. Beautiful. And as I say, I just want this to all go all the way around the edge. And this is always the finicky bit, I think. Just getting it in the cup. There. That is now in and around that edge. So now, I'm just going to turn it and see what happens. And it's turning it. It's mixing the resin in the cup, which saves me doing the stirring. And I suppose for me, do you know what? It is a lot simpler than if you're going like that. So again, if you're struggling, but you don't want to use an electric mixer, this could be an option, guys. Just using that nice clockwork motion, a couple of minutes, and this resin should be completely mixed at that point. Tell it's brand new because we're getting a little mouse in there with the squeaking. So I'm going to give it a couple more spins and then I think it'll be done. Just mixing it round. It's quite therapeutic, actually. Look at this. And to me, that is completely mixed. And again, it's using one of these silicone paddles. So the great thing with that is you can either wipe them off now, or you can wait for the resin to cure and crack it off. For me, I'm just going to wipe it because I just find that a little bit easier than peeling off resin once it's cured. So I'm just going to get a baby wipe. It's normally what I use. And we're going to drip off any excess resin, because I don't like wasting resin. If you know me, if you know anything about the channel, you know that I hate wasting. And you can't even take it off. There's the lid. And just make sure it's all dripped in there, which I think most of it has now. And then I just give it a little wipe with a baby wipe. Gets that excess resin off. And it means that this silicone paddle is good to go for next time. But you can mix up, I think, up to 12 ounces in this as well. So it's pretty substantial. And again, I think it's useful for those of us that don't have an electric one, or don't want to invest in one, or want to do resin where there is no electric, you know? It could be a pretty cool idea. So my resin is in there. Just getting rid of the surface bubbles. And I know there's bubbles in there. There is with this particular fast cure. Most fast cures, you will see bubbles. Don't stress is what I'll say, because they will completely dissipate and go. So I said I was going to do something which you shouldn't do, and I am. But the first thing I want to do, I have decided I want a few of these to go in just in his back, and I think that will just bring the piece together. So I'm going to put a few of these rocks. Not too many, just enough to maybe cover the base of this. I think it will just add an extra element to this frog, because he's mainly going to be see-through, guys. I think that'll be enough. Now, I could put these in with UV, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to pour a tiny bit of this resin straight into there, enough to cover them. And then I'm going to use my silicone tool and just mix it around so that they're all completely covered. And then these are going to go straight into the back of this frog, hopefully, if they come out. And this, I just want them to go and create that top layer. It's almost like frog spawn, actually. And we could make it look even more like frog spawn in a minute, but let's just get this layer in. Again, I don't want to waste any because I don't like wasting anything. Here we go. So these are in just with that first layer of resin. And I don't think they're going to stay clear because I'm not planning to do this in layers. But I don't know what's going to happen next. That's going to be the interesting thing. So just want these pushed down, slightly going into that head, but not all the way. And I want them to create almost a flat little surface where we've got those beautiful beads in the back. Right. So the next step, and you know how I said I'm going to do something I shouldn't do? I've got some bloom drops from Create and Bloom. And she always says, do not use these in resin. They're not meant for that. They're used for tumblers. But you know me, I don't necessarily listen to what people say. So I'm going to go for it. And the plan is I want to layer these two. So I love this golden ember, which is absolutely beautiful. It's like a fire effect. So I'm going to put a few of this in, first of all, and then we're going to pour a layer of resin. And I'm going to get, hopefully, straight onto the silicone mold with this. I'm going to put a few in and around here, and that's okay. It's going to slightly colour that resin, but hopefully it will leave the ones in the centre. One in there, one in there, one in there, and one in there. And then I'm going to pour the next layer of resin on, straight on top of that golden ember. It's almost like an alcohol ink, but I've been told not to use them in resin. And if somebody tells me not to do something, my first reaction is to say, why not? And let's see what it does. So I'm just going to pour a bit in there as well. And I want this to be mainly clear, guys. So again, I'm not that fussed as to how it's all mixing together. So there's the first layer, essentially. I'm going to pour a little tiny bit just on top. like that. Now the next color I've got is Lime Fusion, which is very, very green. But it's a frog. And I don't know how these are going to intermix together or anything. It was just an idea I had. So I want to go into each of these toes with one drop to give us a bit of a, almost a fluorescent green, this. And this might stain my mold. I don't know at this point. As I say, I've not tried it before. And it's going to be interesting just to see, I think, how these bloom drops intermix with the resin. There we go. And then I'm going to put a few more drops just around and into the frog. Again, around that edge. And we're going to see what happens. And that is the idea for this. I'm just going to keep on dripping in layers of the alcohol ink and layers of resin and see what we get. We might get a mess, or we might get something we've never seen before. And that is the fun of resin art for me. It's doing what you shouldn't do and seeing what it creates. Now I'm going to leave the drops in the toes, hopefully pretty much undisturbed, because I want those to stay green. And I'm hoping by putting this extra layer on in between, it's almost sealing that colour in before I go back in with the next layer. And I don't know at this point. It's the first time I've done it, and I just thought it's going to create as an interesting effect. So I'm going to go back in again with the golden ember. And again, one on each foot. And Lou, if you're watching this, don't ever tell me that you can't use one of your products in resin. You can only use it on top of resin, because I'll find a way, trust me. And I think this is actually going to give us a really cool effect. So now just another layer going around there and hopefully getting that beautiful alcohol ink into that center. And what do you think is going to happen, guys? Are we going to get a cool effect here, or is it going to be a murky mess? Could be either. So that's that second layer of those. Now back in with the Lime Fusion. And again, doing exactly the same. So it's almost, I suppose, building up little layers of these different colors. And it does make you feel a bit like a scientist when you do this. A mad scientist. Here we go, back in. And again, I think this is going to be beautifully glass-like in appearance when it's done, is the plan. And I think we're just going to get those different colors of orange and green. And I've only got these two colors, so that's why I'm doing it with these two colors. So the last one was green. I think we're down to the last two layers now. So golden ember again, and I want to finish off with the green. And as you can see, it's just building up layers. And I think it's already starting to look really pretty and cool. Let me know. You might disagree. And don't forget, if you're liking any of my content, guys, do me a favor. Subscribe to the channel, like it, share it. It all helps the algorithm. And if you can, join membership as well. Great way to support us. And I try and do a Froggy Friday every week, but some weeks, I'll be honest, I just don't have time with everything going off. So I do love doing these froggies. Now for the final layer, in fact, this is going to be the final layer. So I'm just going to fill it up pretty much. And then we're going to go back on these almost translucent feet and add a couple more drops of that green to it. And again, I think every time I'm doing this and putting a layer in, it's almost sealing in that color. I've got a tiny bit of resin left, and that's just because I want to make sure that the alcohol ink is actually sealed into the resin. And then I'm going to go 2 drops on each of these feet, like so. And maybe 1 in each leg. So it just really shows that beautiful green. And then I think a couple more drops just on the surface to finish it off. And we'll see what these mix like and what color we're going to get. I don't know. It is going to be interesting. And as you saw, this is just dropping in those alcohol ink drops from Create and Bloom and then topping it up in layers of resin. So I'm going to use the last drops that I've got now just to make sure this is completely full. And remember, it is alcohol ink, guys, so don't torch it. You don't want to set your workstation on fire, trust me. Here we go, into those legs, making sure they're full. And the great thing with using a fast cure resin is this should be ready to demold in 2.5 hours. And as I say, I've got lots of projects that I want to get done today. So I just thought it'd be a cool way to test out this new mixer from Resiners and create a Froggy Friday at the same time. So I hope you've enjoyed it. We're going to come back and we're going to demold this in about 2.5 hours. And I've got something exciting to show you as well at the end, which I think you're going to like. So stay tuned for that. We're going to come back in 2.5 hours, demold hopefully what will be a beautiful glass effect type of frog for this Froggy Friday. And obviously don't forget, watch everybody's in the playlist as well. I'll see you in a sec. So before we get to the demold, guys, this is what I'm excited about. Now, I can't do you a full unboxing or review video just yet because this isn't going to be available until the 10th of August. But Resiners have very kindly sent it me to test, which I'm going to be doing in a video which will come out on the 10th of August. But do you want to see what it is? I am so excited for this. So I tested their curing machine and so did a few other people, and they gave them feedback, and guess what? They have improved it. This is the new G3 curing machine. So it's bigger, it's got a harder base, it's got a UV light inbuilt, and it's taller, so we can fit taller molds in like these frogs. And I'm so excited to try it out, but you know the way I work. I'm not unboxing this until I'm allowed to do a video on it so we can do it together. So this will be coming up 10th of August. This product is going to go live and I think it's going to be epic. So hope you like it. There's your sneak peek. Sorry, Resiners, I just couldn't hold it in anymore. And don't forget, if you want anything from Resiners, use that discount code CCUK. But let's get back to the demold and see what the froggies turned out like. And I hope you're excited. It is time to demold this froggy. It's been 3 hours, I think. Definitely cured. And again, I used something that I was told that you shouldn't use, which is these bloom drops. But don't forget as well, if you want to get one of those hand mixers as well from Resiners, go to resiners.com, use my discount code CCUK and get yourself some money off. But here we go. Who's excited? And the main thing is just going around those toes and seeing, well, obviously, they're going to be the most fragile pieces. Toes always are on your frog. And you want to make sure that you don't snap them off. Here we go. Beautiful. It's coming out lovely. And I'm hoping that this is kind of going to be like a glass effect. We're going to find out. Oh, out we come. And then just loosen it around the head and the top arms. And we should have him released. So, are you ready to see, hopefully, this almost glass effect froggy? Oh, wow. Hello. Look at that. Hello, everyone. What a beautiful, and it does. It looks like glass to me, this. Absolutely stunning. Just with those bloom drops in there as the colorant. And I think it's turned out really cool. Got those iridescent beads in his back. And look at that. In 3 hours, we have a beautiful little froggy ready for a new home. Let me know what you think in comments. But I think he's been a great success. So don't forget, if you want any of these bloom drops, go to createandbloom.com. But if you want this mixing machine and this frog mold from Resiners, go over to resiners.com, use my discount code CCUK and get yourself some money off. But I think he's turned out really cool. Beautiful. And I'll see you all on the next video.